Trees stand in the sun and give shade to others. Their fruits are also for others. Likewise, good people bear all hardships and bring welfare to others. Welcome to This Explainer. I wanted to kick things off today with this really beautiful traditional saying from our source text because it just perfectly captures the spirit of what we're going to be exploring. We are looking at the interconnected, completely selfless, and just breathtakingly complex web of nature. Our focus today is diversity in the living world. I mean, think about it. Stepping into literally any ecosystem presents us with this staggering array of shapes, sizes, colors, and behaviors. So we're going to look at exactly how we observe, understand, and somehow bring analytical order to the beautiful, chaotic, and just immense variety of life on Earth.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The diversity of life. 2. Grouping the plant kingdom. 3. Animal movements and features. 4. Adapting to the environment. And finally, 5. Protecting our biodiversity.
Let's dive right into Section 1, the diversity of life.
Now, biodiversity isn't just some scientific buzzword, right? It's the sheer absolute variety of life in a given region. But here's the really important part. Every single member has a distinct role to play. Trees don't just sit there taking up space. They provide food and shelter to birds. Then, those birds eat the fruits, they disperse the seeds, and that eventually grows more trees. It's like a massive living puzzle where absolutely every piece, from the tiniest little microbe to the tallest mango tree, completely depends on all the others just to survive.
Moving on to Section 2, Grouping the Plant Kingdom. You know that feeling of arranging a super messy backpack into organized compartments? Well, scientists need clear criteria to make sense of biological chaos in exactly the same way. The most basic physical way we categorize plants relies entirely on their height and stem structure. So herbs, like a tomato plant, are short with these tender green stems. Shrubs, like a classic rosebush, are medium height with hard brown branches that start right near the base. And then trees, like the mango, tower way above us with thick, hard trunks and much higher branches. Using just those two simple things, height and stem structure, we've suddenly brought order to a wild forest. How cool is that?
But wait, we can look even closer, right down to the hidden internal structures of these plants. Take dicots, such as a hibiscus. They have what's called reticulate venation, which is just a fancy way of saying their leaf veins form a net-like pattern. Amazingly, plants with net-like leaves almost always have a taproot. That's one main, deep root, and seeds that split right into two parts. On the flip side, monocots, like grass or maize, have parallel venation, where the veins run in straight lines. Their roots are fibrous, spreading out like a wide web, and their seed, it only has one part. This is a brilliant biological tell. A plant's visible leaf veins actually predict exactly what its hidden root system and its seeds look like. It's like nature's cheat code right there.
Section 3, animal movements and features.
Now, let's talk about how animals get around. Locomotion is highly specialized, which proves that an animal's physical form is directly tied to its terrain. An ant utilizes jointed legs for walking, while a goat uses its strong, muscular legs for walking and jumping across rugged, often totally vertical terrain. A pigeon employs a hybrid approach, using both its legs and wings to navigate varied environments. And a fish, well, it navigates water exclusively using fins. Every animal possesses highly specialized biological hardware to execute totally unique movements based precisely on its ecological niche.
Next up, Section 4, Adapting to the Environment. So here's a question for you. Why does biodiversity vary so drastically from region to region? Why do we see entirely different evolutionary paths and creatures in, say, a sandy desert compared to a snowy mountain? Well, the answer lies in the harsh environmental conditions of those specific regions and the unbelievable survival mechanisms living things develop to tolerate them.
Let's consider the camel. The hot desert camel from Rajasthan boasts incredibly long legs to elevate its body way above the burning sand, wide hooves to prevent it from sinking, and one hump to store food for dry journeys. They are notoriously stingy with water excretion too. But contrast that with the cold desert camel from Ladakh. Evolving in a freezing, mountainous environment, nature's relentless engineering gave it short legs for climbing rocky terrain, extremely thick hair from its head all the way to its neck to survive the winter, and two humps. Those humps act as vital fuel reserves for when snow blankets the ground and vegetation literally vanishes entirely. It's the exact same animal family, but with totally different structural designs dictated entirely by their environment.
And plants? They are equally brilliant engineers. Take the deodar tree, which grows high in the mountains where heavy snow is the norm. To survive, it adopts this conical shape with sloping branches, which allows heavy snow to easily slide right off without snapping the trunk. Brilliant, right? Then you have the desert cactus, living with almost zero rain. It deploys thick, fleshy stems designed to hoard massive amounts of water. And what about the rhododendron plant? In extremely windy, high-altitude regions, it adapts by staying very short with small leaves so it doesn't get blown over. But in calmer areas, it grows much, much taller.
All of these examples point to the immense importance of habitats. Habitats are these fragile, finely tuned engines of survival that provide absolutely necessary food, water, and shelter for a species. We broadly group these into terrestrial habitats, so things like forests, deserts, grasslands, and mountains, and aquatic habitats like ponds, lakes, rivers, and oceans.
Bringing us to our final part, Section 5, Protecting Our Biodiversity.
When a habitat is damaged, usually by human activity, plants and animals lose their homes and their resources. And the math here is tragically simple. Habitat damage leads directly to species decline. Vulnerable species like the Bengal tiger, the cheetah, and the great Indian bustard have all faced massive population collapses. Why? Because the highly specific terrestrial environments that they spent literally thousands of years adapting to were rapidly destroyed.
Fortunately, it's not all bad news. Conservation efforts have strong historical precedents. Let's look at a quick timeline. Back in 1973, recognizing a severe threat, the government initiated Project Tiger to safeguard the declining Bengal tiger population. A few years later, in 1976, legendary ornithologist Salil Ali, often called the Birdman of India, was awarded the Padma Vibhushan for his tireless work documenting bird habitats and establishing vital sanctuaries. And jumping to recent history, the 2022 Cheetah Reintroduction Project was launched to restore a keystone predator that had been completely lost to severe habitat degradation. But conservation isn't just about top-down mandates. It's largely driven by grassroots community action. The Save Silent Valley movement, for example, was a remarkable 10-year battle led by ordinary citizens and scientists, like the pioneering botanist Janaki Ammal, to stop a hydroelectric dam from flooding a pristine evergreen forest in Kerala. Similarly, we have sacred groves. These are patches of forest found nationwide that are fiercely protected by local communities through deep-rooted tradition. Logging or hunting is strictly forbidden there, which basically turns these areas into localized, community-guarded fortresses of biodiversity.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a challenge, really. Go check with your parents, or maybe your grandparents. Ask them, what plants and animals have vanished from your own neighborhood since they were children? Have the habitats around you been altered or damaged? And more importantly, what can you do to protect those that remain? The living world is incredibly diverse, it's beautifully structured and entirely interconnected, and we are a crucial part of that web. Thanks so much for exploring it with me today. Keep observing and keep learning.